Well, time to talk with the Chief Minister. We've got quite a few things here. I want to start, though, with the item that ran earlier the week about VAT and now asking people how much they are buying. And this all takes me back to the days when we first set up the VAT agreement. Is this where we're going to try and get more money off the UK on the agreement?
No, it has resonance with the old decennial test that we used to do. That stopped a number of years ago. This is quite separate from that. But once we completed the renegotiation of the VAT sharing agreement, it was quite clearly recognised that the amount of information we have as to the spending profile of Manx consumers and the balance of payments figures between exports, imports, etc., which would include vatable goods, was very, very sparse indeed, and that we had to work out a better structure to understand exactly how much the Isle of Man spends on vatable goods. That essentially, this is an agreement which has been drawn up between HMRC and the Isle of Man government, and we are working to that agreed formula now to try and identify more accurately exactly what figures are in question here. Because
that last decennial test, it really did us a good amount of good, didn't it? Because it said we had all this VAT that must come back, and that's what's
but the decennial test really focused very much on tourist-related expenditure, if you want to put it that way. It was on alcohol, it was on cigarettes, petrol duties, and the like. It was a very narrow-focused report because we used to get an extra allowance for the tourist spend on the island, separate from the general consumer spend. Because all that is finished now, we're looking at it from a different perspective altogether.
And has the UK asked for this to be undertaken? Yes. They want to know exactly how your VAT is being spent?
We need to know. I mean, it's something the Isle of Man has never needed to do before because we have, because the Common Purse Agreement, separate from the VAT, we have free movement of goods in and out of the island. There is no need to register the movement of these goods or to identify what sort of goods they are. We now, for our own internal economic awareness, we need to know exactly how the economy works. We need to know the various sectors that we have here, whether they're vatable, whether they're not, and the level of business the consumer does.
Will this be used in any way, though, for negotiations with the UK, for good or bad? I mean, if it shows that the VAT is still not right, could they come back and have another pot?
It is unlikely, I think, that they will come back for further funds in the future. We will be using these figures as part of future discussions, but it's as much for internal use as external. But clearly, the agreement that we have with the United Kingdom now covers all these areas. We do have to sharpen up our game in many respects, as I say, because we've never had to do this before. And this information will be exceptionally useful for us, both in discussions with the United Kingdom and, of course, for our own internal economic planning.
I think there's 1,000 questionnaires going out. I mean, they must be very targeted, were they, to specific people?
There's a cross-section of the community involved in this. 1,000 is deemed to be an acceptable cross-section in any questionnaire of that sort. 1,000 sample is seen to be an acceptable level. So the Isle of Man's latest project is no different.
You seem quite relaxed about the whole thing, so you don't think this will be any sense of a worry in the future to come back to bite you on the bum?
No, we're not expecting any problems from this. This is work which we have to do. It's part of the agreement which we've reached with the UK, but it should be beneficial to the island at the end of the day.